Why did more people trust Morristown Hamlin Healthcare System last year? Maybe it's our compassionate, highly skilled ER with round-the-clock emergency surgical services, the area's only cath lab for heart attack patients, our comprehensive regional cancer center with personalized treatment plans, the only local hospital delivering our next generation of babies, and all part of the region's top-performing healthcare network. Morristown Hamlin Healthcare System, a member of Covenant Health.
To give you a little bit of background about Coach Slade and his wife Azita is here tonight with us. I first had the opportunity to hear him back in the wintertime at a coaching clinic in Gatlinburg. He was speaking, and after listening to him speak, he just I could see that he had a heart for young people, not just a football coach. And he has a heart for people, young people, and seeing them be successful in life. And meeting them where they are at. And that's so important. And Coach Slade started at Shepherd College, which is an NAI school up in, is it Virginia or West Virginia? West Virginia. Then he went to the University of Richmond. He was at Howard University. He was at Southern Illinois, and then from there he went to the University of Washington on the West Coast, where he was part of Don James's coaching staff, where they won the national championship. And then from there he went to the University of Maryland, Texas A&M, and then finally back to Tennessee, where he coached. He was part of the staff at the University of Tennessee. And then from there he went to Louisville, Kentucky, where coached with the Cardinals, and then his wife and himself made a decision to come back to the Tennessee area. And he ended up coaching in high school for 1 year at Central High School in Knoxville. And then this past off season, he became the defensive coordinator at Carson-Newman University. And let's give a welcome to Coach Slade. Thank you.
And the thing that being around Coach Wells and his staff is that they care about young men. They care about what they become. It's not just about football. It's understanding that someday those young guys are going to be, if they're very fortunate, they're going to be somebody's husband. And if they're really blessed, they're going to be someone's father. They're going to lead families. And the work that Coach Wells and his staff is doing to prepare these guys, for life is so much more important than just preparing them to be great football players. I always like to start out, guys, talking about heroes. One of the things that, when you ask people, say, what's a hero? Sometimes they'll say, well, I look at LeBron James and he can do this and that. But let me tell you about heroes. Heroes are people that you can count on. Heroes are people that are always there for you, regardless of how you act. They're there. Heroes are people who love you unconditionally. And as I look out here, I see a bunch of parents and players, coaches. This is what I'd like for you guys to do right now. I would like for you guys to acknowledge your heroes. If there's a hero in this room, I would like for you to get up right now and to go tell them how much you love them and how much you care about them. I got my hero. One of my heroes is my wife. And I'll tell you how this works, and I'm not trying to embarrass her, but we went through some times that were kind of tough. She's working on her PhD, and at that time, we had a son that had brain surgery. Then we had her mom passed during that time. They were extremely close. And then we had a daughter that went through a tough time. She had a friend, not to get big into it, but she had a friend that was actually pulled out of her car and murdered, pretty much right there. Well, let me tell you what heroes are like. She was there for her in all of those situations. She was there. She has that caring, nurturing heart. But during all of that time, she maintained a 4.0 in her coursework. That's my hero. I really appreciate it. So if you guys would, I know there are some heroes in this room. Guys, get up and congratulate them, please. The next thing that's very important is that you learn to live in your vision and not in your circumstance. There's going to be some times this year that it's going to be pretty tough. And it's going to be really helpful that you hear what Coach just said and that you're able to live in that vision and not in your circumstance. Let me give you a great example of it. There's a story. There's a young man that I coached at the University of Tennessee named Inky Johnson. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Inky. Well, Inky was one of those guys that had an opportunity, boy, if he had stayed healthy, to play in the NFL. But Inky's vision was to get a college degree. He wanted to be the first one in his family. He grew up in the projects in a very tough situation. And he promised his grandma that he would get his degree. Well, we were playing the Air Force Academy. And as Inky is tackling a guy, he gets hit right here. Helmet hit him right here. Severed his nerves. So, the football career is over with. Man, I went to the hospital, and I'm standing there, and I'm praying. Lord God, give me the words to say to encourage this family. Hide me behind the cross. Let me be your instrument to encourage him and encourage his family. I get up there, and as I get out of the elevator, I run into his mom. And his mom gestures to the room, and she says, Coach, I don't know how I'm going to make it. My son will probably never have full use of his arm. I pray a little bit more, and then she hit me with one more. She said, and my husband has cancer. Man, I said, wow. I walked in that room, and I walked over there by Inky, and I looked down at Inky, and I said, Inky, how are you? That boy looked up at me with the biggest smile that you could imagine. And he says, Coach, I'm all right. I got peace, and I got joy. He inspired me. He inspired me. As tough as he was going through, a toughest situation, you see, Inky was living in his vision and not in his circumstance. You see, Inky was truly blessed. He was living above the circumstance. So during the year, sometimes, things like that happen. What are you going to say when they happen to you? Man, I was inspired because that's the way we talk about it, but how are we when we go through it? The message is live in your vision and not in your circumstance. Now understand this. It's not enough to just have a vision. It's very helpful to have a clear process, a clear way of going about your vision, about achieving your vision. A clear way to doing that. That means that it's work. And there are some words that I want to kind of talk briefly about. And this is a very important part of it because this is where most people miss it, is that they have that vision, they can talk about it, but then they fail because they refuse to really do the work that's necessary.